You're still watching Prime Morning. Good morning to those of you who just tuned in. My name is Roslyn Felly, and this segment is the News Flash segment. Today, we are going to take a look at the release of Chairman Wontumi and also the Office of the Special Prosecutor declaring once again Mr. Ofori-Atta a fugitive. We'll take a look at that, and then maybe other matters that will arise. We'll probably talk about it briefly. And I just want to welcome my guests who are in the studio early. I'm excited. They are all here so early, and it's been a while since I saw this man, Kwame Nkrumah Botsio. Good morning, Kwame Nkrumah.
Good morning, Rosa. It's good to be back.
It's good to see you. Yes. And how is the CPP?
The CPP is doing very well. We
Great.
are poised for victory in 2028.
Wow. Are you keeping the same flag bearer, or you're bringing a different flag bearer?
We have a strong internal democracy.
Okay.
So we are going to have another process to elect flag bearers. And that does not mean the former flag bearer is disqualified. If she meets the criteria, then she can also stand as part of those who will be contesting.
Fantastic. And you're looking very relaxed, you know.
Yes, yes.
Very well rested.
Thank you. Things are going well in the CPP, and I suppose the economy too is going well. So,
okay.
I mean, relatively, we can't complain. God has been good.
God has been good. Great. I know the NPP will be saying that, okay, he's saying the economy is going well. Are you saying that and asked the economy wasn't going well? Good morning, Honorable Michael Adu, who's representing the NPP. How are you today?
Very well.
Good. And I saw you in Kumasi over the weekend.
Yes, I had to visit the constituency over the weekend. I joined the Victory Baptist Church, the Gamanche Church.
Right.
Quite interestingly, it was then that I got to know that the Gamanche grew up in Kumasi.
Oh.
In my constituency. The family was staying in Bomso.
Okay.
And the father designed that church.
Oh,
and
wow.
the mother was a chorister. He was with he was learning instrumentals in the church. He basically grew up in the church. So he came over.
Nice.
He came over with a very huge entourage, and it was very beautiful.
That's nice.
And after the celebrations yesterday, I joined the education director to distribute mathematical access to 3,628 students in Ofori-Atta. So every student that will be writing BEC in Ofori-Atta has a mathematical access.
Amazing. You are an amazing or fantastic member of parliament representing them well.
Yeah.
That's nice. So you do this every weekend? You go there every weekend?
Almost every weekend or bi-weekly, depending on the activities that are there. And sometimes I look at the demands from Parliament. If there are too many events or programs in Parliament, then I might not go. For instance, this coming weekend, there are committee meetings, so I wouldn't be in Kumasi. Other than that, I'm there.
That's nice. You're doing well. I hope they maintain you as a member of Parliament.
We hope so. Everything is in the hands of God.
Yes.
All right, so Honourable Timothy Awantrim-Atabwade is here. Good morning, Honourable.
Good morning, Rosalind.
And Honourable is representing the NDC as well. Yes. So Kwame Nkrumah Botsio says things are going well in the economy. I know you're happy about that.
Let me say good morning to my colleagues here and then to your good self and to all those watching us. I think at the weekend too, I was also near Kumasi, not in Kumasi. So I'd gone to Eastern Region to attend the funeral of my landlord's wife. And God being so good with his mercies, we drove throughout and came successfully. The road is terribly bad, eh? Yeah, it's not easy. And we are hoping to fear the Kumasi road to fix it. You know, these days it will take you about 6 hours before you get to Kumasi. Previously, it used to be about 4 hours.
Serious?
Yeah, the road is terrible.
I know they have Colland in about.
Yes. But be that is as it may, yes, I think things are getting better. People can feel it. We do not want to be so much boastful that we've done well, but I think it's the collective effort of everybody.
Right.
And we also feel that the overwhelming votes that were given to us was given to us not to sleep, to ensure that their life becomes better. And that is what we are doing. Fuel prices are going down. The city is a little stabilized for some time now. We will continue to see its appreciation. Inflation is also getting down. So we in fact, the essence of governance and for that matter, democracy is for the people to get better in their lifestyles and so on. And that is exactly what we are doing. A lot more programs will come on to ensure that at the end of the year, people will get their lives put together once again and businesses continue to flourish. at the end of the day, we shall give thanks and praises to God for his mercies.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. I always say that whatever gadgets you're looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, just go to Franco Trading Enterprise and they'll serve you. Please and please do not pick the number on Google. There are so many fraudsters there. No, but rather as you look after you're watching us this morning, the number is on the screen, so you can pick the number. To make things also simple, just download the app on your phone, which is the Franco Trading app, or visit our website for further inquiries, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still, phone Papa Fie. Now, I still can't get over what happened during the Big Chef cooking competition that took place on Sunday, where the children actually cooked with fish. I think I'm going to try and see if I can prepare, oats banku, because I've never tried it before. I hear it's very delicious, and so I'll prepare it with my family, and we'll try it and see if it's that delicious. But congratulations to the lucky winner that day. She did so well, but don't forget to keep your votes coming in for the contestants, because you don't want your favorite to be out. Now, Big Chef airs every Sunday at 4 p.m. Don't miss out on it at all. All right, so let me do the newspapers, and then we can go into our topic for this morning. But you can send your messages to us on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. I start off with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The Ghanaian Times. Major milestone in Galamsey fight. Illegal miners flushed out of 8 forest reserves. President reveals. And this is good news, isn't it?
It is.
Certainly.
Yeah. Wow. Well, how did they do it?
Well, I suppose probably, they have this new task force. This
the Blue Water Guards.
The Blue Water Guards, and they have other people helping. And of course, we've always had forest guards in various forests. I suppose they are now being given adequate facilities to probably tackle these things, because these things exist. I remember once I was going to Sishivioso, and I made the unfortunate decision of following my Google map. I ended up in the middle of a forest, and what I saw was astounding. I mean, it wasn't Galamsey per se, but illegal logging. I mean, in the middle of a forest. I didn't even know which region I was in. And the people scattered when they saw me. So in the cities, wherever we are shielded from what is going on around us. And there have been situations where these forest guards have even been killed for doing their job. So I don't know exactly what went into it, but we already have the adequate regime, the wherewithal to tackle these things. So probably more facilities are being put into it to make sure that they carry out their duties.
Okay, great. UK backs Morocco's Sahara autonomy plan as the most credible solution and abandon borrowed Western mode of fighting corruption. This is coming from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Now, it's not him, it's the office, and it's going to be a topic of discussion for this morning. The overseer, which is credibility and fairness, that says the overseer. NPP enriched foreigners than party loyalists, comments on Wontumi's bail. Patients use hospital over CCTV cameras in consulting room. I would have sued as well, because why would you have CCTV cameras in consulting rooms? Yeah. It doesn't even make sense, does it?
Yes.
It doesn't make sense. What are you trying to do? What do you want to see? If you don't trust the doctors that you have placed there, we, the patients, is our privacy. So why are you putting CCTV there? And maybe they are even watching you. Probably when they were inspecting her, they were watching. The security men were watching. Hey, the things they've seen. Anyway, OSP rejects Ofori-Atta's settings, redeclares him wanted, and that's one of our topics for this morning. Our second topic is definitely on Wontumi's bill 10's campaign platform for NPP flag bearer aspirants. Okay, well, looks like it's so. We'll talk about that. Now, Gold Board sanitizes gold sector, yields $2.7 billion in exports. President John Dramani Mahama says so. And don't disappoint Mahama. Otunfor cautions government appointees. This is very important, because, you can be doing all the work and your appointees will just decide to disappoint you. And they get you out of power.
Yeah.
Michael, did it happen for you in the NPP?
It happens to every government. You might have all the nice policies, but then when it comes to implementation, you know, there are thousands of state institutions, state agencies, ministries, and so on, all coming together. So when everybody is doing their parts, the pieces come together to make the government, to form the government. There may be mistakes, there may be excesses, and those excesses can send you to opposition. So it happens to every government. You know, normally when any government comes to office, they are very careful. Like today, the NDC, very, very careful. But with time, as you implement your policies, because you need to do roads, you need to put up buildings, you need to do various things for the people. As you're implementing these policies, you have to go through procurements and so on. Eventually, some of the excesses will start to happen. Some of them are inevitable, because sometimes the person might not even know the process well. There are civil servants that they come to meet, and they will show you the way to go about things. And by the time you realize you are in a mess.
Yeah.
So
kick them out if you realize they are not doing well.
I mean, there was a news item. Samens is saying something.
Yes, Samens says that MPP enriched foreigners than party loyalists.
You see, and these are the major issues most political parties will face. The people who fought for the political party to win power, somewhere along the line, are completely sidelined or completely not seen at all. And other people that you do not know are the people who continue to benefit from the spoils of this political power. And that becomes a major issue. And once you lose your base as a political party, then defeat is imminent, is facing you, because your people must be satisfied. People have worked so hard for political parties, and at the end of the day, they don't get what they deserve. So that becomes an issue, added to the fact that Honorable is talking about the issues of the fact that, yes, sometimes you can get it wrong when you are doing, but where it is done repeatedly, it becomes a problem. If from the beginning people caution you, you continue to caution them, because you know that you have a mandate. You have policies you are supposed to do, and to stay in power for long, these policies must yield fruition. You don't just come to do things within your own whims and caprices and believe that people will benefit from it. So I think the caution is timeless. It's very, very important. We have been saying that, look, we are learning from what happened to our people in the MPP. We should not repeat the mistakes that they did. That was why, even at the beginning, when President Akufo-Addo said that, look, he has been in this race for the past 40 years, we expected that some mistakes that he and his people committed, they shouldn't have committed them at all. The goodwill was there. But someone completely fizzled out.
What baffles me is, should it always be so that your attention is always on your party people? Let me ask my brother Botsio, the CPP.
Very competent.
Very competent.
Must be balanced.
That I know that maybe their party may not be in power anytime soon. So if he has some level of competence to do anything, are we saying that we should always look at just the people who worked for us to come to power? If we do so, then there are a lot of Ghanaians who will sit on the fence and not have anything to do. You understand? We're all Ghanaians. But then now, we are all learning lessons. Because now, even listening to a lot of my colleagues in the NDC, the conversation is more like, when you come to power, your attention should be on those who work for you, on your party people. And that's how Ghana is going to go in the near future. And I hope when it gets there, people will not shout and say, oh, we are all Ghanaians. Because that's what we are seeing now.
Anyway, Kwame Nkrumah, you wanted to touch
a bit on it. Where, you see, you can balance it in a nice way that people might not even notice. Even your own one-to-one conduct to your colleagues.
But then I would say MPP balanced it, and that's the balancing that they got served with. Because I wouldn't say it was all foreign people. I know some MPP businessmen and so on who were also doing businesses. Until Chairman Wontumi's issues came, how many people knew he had done businesses in government? There were a lot of people who did businesses. So it's not a blanket statement that they were all foreigners.
No, and if you look at that
during MPP, during Nanado's term, wasn't it Nanado's period that McDan had the salt consignment? Is McDan MPP?
If you see, we've appointed a lot of...
I suppose that phenomenon is commonly known as job for the boys. And it shouldn't really be so. You shouldn't concentrate on the party faithful. It should be for all Ghanaians generally. You shouldn't lock people out because they are associated with this party or that party. You should look at their competence. if there's something to be done, you choose the best person. And there are times where the best person may be a foreigner in quotes. This foreigner may be a Ghanaian passport holder, but may have roots in another country. You know, over here, we have a lot of industries owned by our Lebanese brothers who were born here, who are third generation. Even we have third generation Italians,
right.
You know, Mr.
Like the Melcoms
the Trazacos and all that. They are also Ghanaians. And I think Samens may have a point there. If you favor these Ghanaian passport holders who may have roots abroad rather than party faithful, the optics are not good, but it shouldn't be party faithful. It should be Ghanaians. A political party is there to serve Ghanaians, not the party faithful. But in serving Ghanaians, you have to make sure nobody is left behind, especially those who helped you to come into power. You do not sideline.
You don't sideline. But I think that lessons have been learned very early. So if you know you are a foreigner and you expect appointment in the near future, come down and work.
Okay.
Because in the near future, the youth that is rising now in MPP will not sit down for you to get any appointment.
Okay. Because when you look at our appointments,
let me do
a lot of academicians that have been appointed because of their competence.
Exactly.
All right, so I'll do the New Republic newspaper next. The New Republic, release after 7 days of lawful incarceration, Wontumi's jail menu, no hunger strike, a feared MPP poison plot. And so it says in the morning he has 4 eggs, in the afternoon he has 3 eggs, and in the evening he has garden salad. Is it true?
You see a snake. This snake. How can you say in the morning he has 4 eggs? Come on, you see a snake.
Even a bodybuilder. This sounds like
eggs.
Come
on, they should spare us this story. They should spare us this story. The man came out and we saw how frail he's looking. He barely could even stand, so he had to lean on the general secretary's shoulder.
Did you just say it's a snake? It's so funny. Anyway, also Ofori-Atta declared fugitive again. Ghana CD leads African countries with 40% gain. Mahama fires warning shots. NDC to crack down on Galamsey with excavator import ban. Is it GIS or CIS? GIS blows whistle on fake recruitment scam. Don't fall victim to protocol lies. And that'll be it for the New Republic newspaper. The next newspaper is the National Enquirer. Just in 4 months, Ghana has earned $2.7 billion through Gold Board initiative. This coming from the president. Stay resolute in anti-corruption fight. Domahene urges Mahama as AU Advisory Board Against Corruption visits Ghana. NPA boss admonishes Africa, we must own the future of our gas. Nungwa Jacheche. Is it Jasiche? Jasiche, good. Vindicated in Ramsar site land claim. Government reaffirms commitment to inclusive governance, and I know Ye Bampo Ado says so. And we see a picture of June 4th uprising, all right. The last newspaper is the Economy Times newspaper. The Economy Times, Ghana accelerating back to debt sustainability as CD strengthens. Energy report pushes for grid upgrades, efficiency reform as minister directs ECG to deploy 200 transformers. And 24-hour economy, Mahama lays a blueprint as a venture capital and Volta Lake to play pivotal roles. That'll be all for the newspapers this morning. Now, let's start off with Chairman Wontumi's release. After 7 days in the custody of EOCO, he finally got his bail. Now, the bail that was being granted was 50 million Ghana cedis. We know that the NPP came out to say that that loan was outrageous and, of course, it was unrealistic. However, the EOCO decided to stay their ground and make sure that that 50 million Ghana cedis bill was what they wanted, and of course 2 sureties. One man stood tall in this, and that's Brian Champo, who has also shown interest in becoming the flag bearer of the NPP. Now, I met Honorable Michael Edu in Kumasi, and I asked him a question. He's not going to answer that question on TV because this is behind the scenes. But anyway, it looks like it became a political ground because we also saw the current flag bearer of the NPP trying hard to help him get out of the custody of EOCO. Finally, he's out, and we asked the question, where does it end? Kwame Nkrumah Botsio.
I would first of all like to commend Chairman Wontumi's lawyer, Honorable Andy Apiakubi, who's my mate from the law faculty. I mean, he's a perfect gentleman, so intelligent. He's one of the neutral politicians. Even though he's MPP, I know he has the country at heart. I think he did a good job. He tried his best. At a point, I was getting a bit enraged about the case. Even though I'm CPP, I think the human rights of every individual is important. Initially, I heard he had been kept for 5 days. And even as a legal practitioner, I know that after 48 hours, you have to be taken to court. And then we heard that it was rather 3 days. And on the third day, I think they tried to get him out, so they met the bail conditions. But because my learned friend Gary had also filed a motion for Tuesday, they had to keep him a bit longer. However, I think the whole issue needs further interrogation. Because why the 7 days? Because as far as I'm concerned, even we legal practitioners, we make mistakes. We learn all the time. As far as I'm concerned, only the court can order for somebody to be kept for more than 48 hours. And Section 69 of the EOCO Act 2010 says that the High Court and the Circuit Court has jurisdiction in EOCO matters. So I was expecting that if he was kept Wednesday, Thursday, then by Friday, take him to court and then ask for an order for him to be remanded. But however, I suppose the MPP lawyers had their own strategy as to why they wanted to meet the bail conditions. It's all strategic. I can't fault them for that. And we've heard all kinds of allegations flying around that he did this and he did that, and people are enraged. But I mean, it's innocent until proven guilty. But the interesting thing about the EOCO Act 2010, Section 69, it says that you are presumed to be guilty until you can show otherwise.
Oh, that's the EOCO Act?
The EOCO Act, which is very interesting.
Okay.
I mean, I've done a few EOCO cases, but it's interesting because it may go against the fundamental principle of innocent until proven guilty. And we will flog that horse later. So the EOCO has very weighty powers. When EOCO arrests you, it's up to you to show that you haven't done anything. They can come up and say, Kwame Nkrumah Botsio, we realize you've done this deal, 100 million Ghana cedis.
Prove that you didn't do it.
Prove that your bail is 150. How am I going to prove? How am I going to prove such a thing?
Why? Yeah.
So, but I don't fault the head of EOCO, Mr. Raymond Acha. He's working under the law that he has been given. But eventually, we have to take another look
So saying that, looking at what their law says, does it mean that they had every right to keep him for the 7 days?
No. As for the 7 days, I know that only a court can order for you to be kept beyond the 48 hours. And as regards that, if you are kept beyond the 48, it's up to your lawyers to go to
So this
court.
is where people kept on saying that the NPP lawyers or the lawyers for Chairman Wontumi should go to court, but they didn't.
Yes. You know, sometimes sometimes the allegations against you may not be true, but then there's no smoke without fire. Maybe there's something somewhere that people would rather the case does not go to court. Maybe there's bound to be some plea bargain. This country, there are so many laws that even, I mean, the innocent person who stayed in his room for 24 hours, you can find something against him. So maybe there's something somewhere. That is why they are treading carefully. Be that as it may, he's out now. And I always say that in the book of Proverbs, he said the first person to speak always seems right until he's cross-examined. Chairman Wontumi is not my friend. I've not spoken to him before. I think I bumped into him only once somewhere, but I do not know him. Let us have further interrogation of the issues before we draw any conclusions. And that goes for everybody, whether NDC, CPP, NPP, all Ghanaians. The allegations are very weighty, but then the court should interrogate it. And I'm also a bit concerned about how sometimes these allegations are handled. They are put in a public domain by the authorities in a way that makes it seem as if they have already secured a conviction. It should not be so. There's an appeal court case that says that the job of the prosecution is not to secure a conviction at all costs, but to make sure that justice is served. And I suppose I trust EOCO. I've worked with them for many years. They are very competent. I trust they will do a good job. And they also adhere to Article 19(2)(e) of the 1992 Constitution that says that an accused person shall be afforded adequate time and facilities to prepare his defense. So as the issues unroll, we will see what actually went into the allegations against him, and we'll see his defense. And yeah.
Kwame Nkrumah, please, I just want to find out, and I'm asking on behalf of the laymen out there watching us this morning. There's a bit of confusion here. They will ask, okay, so if EOCO couldn't have kept him there for 7 days, they did keep him there for 7 days, meaning that they flouted the laws, right?
Yes.
Now, again, his lawyers didn't go to court.
Yes.
And they didn't go there to try and get him out after the 48 hours.
Yes.
So can the law come after EOCO for keeping him there?
Oh, yes, all the time. I dealt with a similar case many years ago, not personally, but the law firm I was working for, where the state had actually infringed on an accused person's rights, and a civil action was taken on behalf of the accused, and the state was found culpable. And some police pickups had to be sold for the money to be given to the accused person as compensation. So you are entitled to that.
So there's a possibility that they could compensate Chairman Wontumi?
If he goes for that compensation.
Okay.
And of course, if EOCO is able to show that they were entitled to keep him beyond the 48 hours. As I said, the EOCO Act is an act with a difference. It has certain powers that other institutions don't have. If they're able to point out to something that I haven't seen so far by reading, I haven't seen anything that allows them to keep anybody beyond 48 hours. If that is proof, then Chairman Wontumi can actually sue them and get a remedy, whether he's an accused person or not. Even if you catch a murderer in the act or a serial killer, I mean, on live TV, you still cannot keep the person for 48 before taking them to court. They still have a civil remedy, and they can still sue for that civil remedy.
They kept him for 7 days. Does it make it look as safe as a witch hunt?
Well, you know, whether... I can't say, you know, when it comes to whether it's a witch hunt, at the moment, it has become a tit-for-tat game in a way. Some would say when you came in 2016, 2017, this is what you did.
You did,
because, you know, before even the NDC won, we had heard allegations about some galamsey infractions, without mentioning names. We had heard allegations about galamsey infractions.
No, his name was mentioned.
Yes, here and there. So it could be said that there were already allegations against him before NDC won. So you cannot say it is a witch hunt. Sometimes people may say that, why go after the political class? Why go after the entrepreneurs? You understand me? But who else should be the scapegoat to serve as an example? It may seem unfair, but to deter corruption, you cannot take the ordinary man on the street that nobody knows. Nobody will even follow the case. So if you become a politically exposed person, then you should tread carefully. You should make sure that all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Because if you fall foul, you'll be used as an example. It comes to the territory.
Thank you very much. Michael, now, for the MPP, you feel it's a witch hunt, right?
It's clear. It's clear because, like my brother Botsio said, his fundamental human rights were infringed upon. Because clearly, in my mind, when someone is arrested, I think EOCO has the investigatory powers. And within the period, that 48 hours period that they were keeping him, we believe they were investigating him. So obviously, his lawyers will try to secure him bail, but will not think that it will go beyond. If it goes beyond, the lawyers know that definitely you have to present him in a court of law to justify why you have to keep him further, because you had not charged him. As it stands now, has he been charged? I don't think so.
No, he has not been charged,
yes,
no.
you have not charged him. So if you've not charged him, it means that you are trying to get more information, so you are still investigating him. And once he's still under investigation, he's entitled to bail. He's entitled to bail. If you are charging him and then the court decided that, okay, based on the charges and so on, you need to keep him so that you continue the investigation, fine. Or even if you had presented him to the court and the court said, okay, based on whatever investigations you are doing, you need to keep him. That's fine enough. But in this situation, you didn't present him to any courts. You keep him beyond the 48 hours. And then lawyers were negotiating. You know, there's this school of thought, there's this opinion that people get surprised that even though his lawyer, the Honorable Andy Apiakubi, is a gentleman and so on, that people feel he didn't take the necessary action.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised
yes,
as a party that he didn't go to court?
Yes, I'm surprised. Because you have a client, there are some clients who will not agree that you sit down for him to sleep in jail for 7 days. There are businessmen who will not be happy when they know they are innocent. Because as it stands now, anybody that is arrested is presumed innocent until proven guilty, unless you are using the EOCO law that he said. But even without admitting, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And anybody who is arrested, you have to still respect their rights. Understand? Everybody's rights has to be respected under the law. So you're a lawyer, your client has been arrested. At least make that effort. 50 million is huge. No matter how rich you are, when you are slapped with a bill of 50 million.
With two sureties.
With two sureties. And we know how in Ghana here, even getting documentation for land is difficult.
Yeah.
In Greater Accra, a lot of people have houses that they don't have full documentation. What they have is an indenture. So people may be rich from the outside, but when it comes to properties, the proper documentation they may not have. Then you ask someone to submit properties worth 50 million cedis, which is very on the high. If you ask any lawyer, it's very on the high. It's because he's a politician. Other than that, you will not be slapped with a 50 million bill.
It's because he's a politician?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
How many ordinary citizens are slapped with 50 million bill?
You know, there was a joke that was flying around that maybe because he said at a point in time that he could buy Chelsea, that is why this came
People
up.
have said worse in this country. People have said worse. People go around and say so many things that they can do that we know they can't. You understand?
So he was, at that time, he was only bragging.
Come on, he's from Kumasi, why not? He's from Kumasi, why not? He has to own the bragging rights. Okay. That's why he says he's the general. You understand?
Right.
So it's quite unfortunate Chairman Wontumi had to sleep in cells for 7 days, because I believe personally that his rights were trampled upon and that it was quite excessive. It all boils down to the tit for tat, the you do me, I do you politics that we are doing now. Some people feel that the past government did it to them, so it's their time to take their pound of flesh. It's a bad precedent that we continue to set, and I will warn that what it does is that this thing will never end. Because in the near future, and as I've seen with our governance, when your 8 years is up, it's up. When your 8 years is up, it's up. And even 4 years is a long period. Anything can happen within 4 years. Nobody anticipated COVID. Anything can happen to the government. Today, look at Russia. Other European countries are helping Ukraine, and Russia is threatening that they will even bomb Germany. Anything can happen within the 4 years period. And when those things happen as a government and it changes the dynamics, Ghanaians may not forgive you. Then you go back, and the same people that you use that hammer to push them down, they also come after you. So I sympathize with Chairman Wontumi. I sympathize with his family. I saw his video yesterday when he was released. He was looking very frail. I'm just praying they should take him to the hospital so that he will be able to recover from what he has gone through. I don't wish that for even my enemy. I don't wish that for even my enemy. But with the lawyer and all these issues gone, I wouldn't say it was a campaign platform. You see, when a party person is arrested, you need to commensurate with them. You need to show support. So the whole thing that we did was in protest of his rights that were being trampled upon.
Surprising, you're not showing that kind of, you know, the kind of, what's the word to use? Kind of support for Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta.
The party was there from... Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta is not in the country.
No, but still, you know, the response from the party, the response from the party, with regards to the office of the special prosecutor is a bit different.
As it stands now, is a banter between him and the special prosecutor.
Okay.
He's not in the country yet. If Mr. Ofori-Atta was in the country and he had been arrested, then we will show that support. Okay. But he's not here. Chairman Wontumi is here. So we deal with what is here now. Okay. When Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta is on rules, then we will deal with it. All right. Today, what I know is the OSP has issued a red alert for him, which the OSP in the Airbus scandal mentioned that a red alert does not mean that he has this thing to arrest him, the warrant to arrest him. Yeah. And that unless they start extraditory processes before they can even bring him. So the red alert, based on the Airbus scandal, what the OSP said, to me, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Okay? Right. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. If you read the report that he himself wrote, to the extent that even in the Airbus scandal, he said when he invited Samuel Adams, Mahama, he refused to come. And even after issuing the red alert, they didn't bring him. So he had to travel to the UK to interview all the people involved in the Airbus scandal before he issued that clearance that he used to clear the former president and those involved. So what I asked myself is, Mr. Ofori-Atta sent a document to you that he has cancer with his biopsy. Anybody who knows how cancer is treated, they do biopsy, they take tissues of your samples, and they go through a series of tests before they'll be able to determine the kind of surgery and what period the surgery will take and all those. It takes a long process to do these things. So he sent you information on his biopsy and all these things, that he's in a hospital. The same way that you travel to the UK to go and interview Samuel Adams Mahama, why isn't it possible to travel? Well, we'll delve deeper into that. So we are happy Chairman Wontumi is out. It was quite unfortunate, the period that he stayed in. And I hope that his lawyers will, going forward, they will be up and doing, because that mishap, that made him sleep in cells for 7 days, for me, was quite unfortunate. I think they could have been more proactive. Okay. They could have been more proactive. That's the lawyers, right? Yes, okay. Yes. So you don't fault EOCO fully. You fault both EOCO and the lawyers. EOCO will be acting based on law. So today they say the law is the law. They will be acting based on law. They will act within the law. But you see, the law could be used to punish you. Okay. So this is where the lawyers should have come in. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Okay. So since the lawyers didn't do what they had to do, for you, Honourable Timothy Awatri-Wattabwade in the NDC, NPP sees it as witch hunt. But for the NDC, is it also witch hunt? Are you retaliating what the NPP did when you were in opposition?
If indeed it is a witch hunt, like they are thinking, what did Wontumi do that we are witch hunting him? Even if assuming that we want to witch hunt the MPP former appointees, and Wontumi was the regional chairman, what exactly did he do that would be witch hunting?
Wontumi insulted the president and his wife. Oh, no. I've heard... Really?
You won't allow me to speak.
I've heard plenty.
But the charges on him have nothing to do with it.
If you are to go into the charges, then they've not charged him with anything yet.
Yes, because investigations are
but what they are saying that they could charge,
one, they say contractual issues.
Yes. Is that fraud?
Two contractual issues, which has to do with Exim Bank and Cocoa Board. Yes. He's a lawyer. Ask him. Contractual issues are civil cases.
No, but they said fraud. They said
no,
fraud.
I'm coming.
They said money laundering.
Two contractual issues, which are civil cases. They arrested him based on the contractual issues and the Galamsey issue. Right. Which, of course, we all know that he has also released statement upon statements that the things they are saying are not true, and that he also has all the documentation to prove that where he was manning, he had legal license obtained, and which quite recently, the Minister for Lands revoked So if you don't have a legal license, how would the minister revoke your license?
Okay.
You understand? So these are issues that he will have his day in court. But what I'm privy to now was that the day that he went to the CID, after his investigations, how he was there, the vehicle that he sent, the 2 days, they scanned the vehicle, and apparently there was issues with the vehicle. So that is what is bringing this criminality issue.
The vehicle he sent to the...
Yes, that is what I'm hearing.
Issues with the vehicle?
Yes, that's what is bringing this criminality issue
That's the vehicle he drove there.
It's like a stolen vehicle or something?
I don't know yet. I can't confirm. I can't confirm.
But why did they scan the vehicle?
Of course. So that's why I said when the state wants to use its full force on you, they will go to the extent of even digging your grandfather's...
check to see if it's a stolen car.
You know,
I've been to...
You know, sometimes... Yes. Because you are not a person of interest. You are not a person of interest. When you're a person of interest, they will scan your vehicle, they will check whether you've paid your duty,
you've done this,
where you bought the car from, your taxes. They will do everything. Your companies, if you're a person of interest and the state wants to use
I want this point made.
They can go to, and that is where the witch hunting comes in.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
So like I was saying, if it is a witch hunt, what did Wontumi do? Not a government appointee that we are witch hunting him. So they should stop these issues of witch hunt. All political parties, when you win power, it is you versus the people of this country who have entrusted their power to you to exercise it in consonance with the laws and regulations of this country. If indeed Honorable is saying that he has heard you saying that Wontumi insulted former President President Mahama and the wife, in any case, why should Wontumi insult them? What was their crime? What was their crime? That is not your colleague. You're a young man. A former president, you insult him. But the president, you know how John is. John has never taken these things because he feels that that's part of our political shenanigans. As we sit this morning, do you think those cases can stand in the court of law? The investigations institution have power in all the laws backing them to do the investigations, and that is what exactly they are doing. There are more MPP people. No one has gone to them to do anything. Even if it is Galamsey that we are talking about, there are other MPP people who were into Galamsey, including Zijemfua, the former, the women's organizer MP. No one has hunted her. Kate Jemfua. No one has gone to hunt her.
Do you have evidence to that?
Yeah, for now, what we know is that no one has gone to hunt her.
Do you have evidence to that?
We have seen copious reports by Erastus Asare of your media house reporting on Wontumi's activities. Copious one with evidence to show. We know these things. You destroy people's lives, you kill people.
How?
Through the pollution of the water with chemicals. That even women who were given...
I don't know whether people died
but the reports
or not.
were
So
there.
if you say that he killed people on TV, on national television, somebody will say that you're saying that he actually did kill people.
Listen to me. If your activities and your conduct leads to the death of innocent people, you kill them.
But you and I don't know whether somebody died out of that. Yet.
What I'm saying...
So if you say it like that, somebody will say that Chairman Wontumi did something and people died.
There are medical doctors in Kumasi who saw the women when they were pregnant and they gave birth with fetus that were not complete.
But we
Some of them have been
out of Chairman Wontumi.
What we are saying is that, Rosalind,
yes,
it is Galamsey, of which he was a kingpin. He was a Galamsey kingpin in Kumasi. No one doubts that. He said hasn't doubted. There's copious reports. Can we have
proved that he's a Galamsey kingpin before we say that he's a Galamsey kingpin?
Look. His activities within the forest sectors of this reserve forest sectors and in Kumasi are replete all over.
We have to get it proved,
you understand?
Right, before we actually condemn him completely. I think
we are not. We are only just regurgitating these things that have been said over and over again. You saw the Professor Frimpong Boateng's report on the Galamsey activities and where it all ended and so on. And I think that if the previous government had taken the fight seriously, probably he wouldn't have gotten to that stage. He said he has license to mine. We all know how prospective licenses are taken. You take it under the pretext of prospective.
His license is not prospective. It's a mining license.
Now, we've seen even the minerals commissioner came out to say that they even revoked some of the licenses. You remember? They revoked them because they were prospecting licenses. They were not for mining. No one would tell a lie for him because at least we have an independent reporter who is from Joy and who has been reporting the activities of these people.
So our reporter, please, let's not misquote the reporter. The reporter didn't come out to say that he had River. He didn't come out to say that he had a prospectus mining license. What he said was that he does have license, but he was also mining in certain bodies that he didn't have right to mine in there.
So that he wasn't the person who was mining in the Kano forest. That he had this
Akunta mining is big, and Akunta mining belongs to him. We've seen how gun welding people in the video were chasing people in that village, and we saw it.
But the gun welding people, how do we say they are for?
But Akunta mining gas. In Kumasi.
Kumasi, yes. Akunta mining does not even have mining concession in Kumasi.
You didn't see the video?
It's around Sapna Boy. So, Honorable, you are confusing me.
Honorable, please make your point, though. But
you see,
you're confusing me here.
If it is not in Kumasi, you saw the activities of these gun welding people.
But it's not
every gun has gun welding people, but not from Akunta mining.
But
Akunta mining activities are replete and well documented by all those investigating this. Where the Akunta mining activities. Well, we know in this country when the president said that Akunta mining was not engaged in any illegal mining. And you've seen the reports on it and so on. Be that as it may, whatever that Wontumi has done, that he's being investigated or invited by the what do you call it, the investigations institution, it is not a witch hunt. It is not a witch hunt. In fact, he's not the only miner. How come he's the one that the investigations bodies are after? Because of his nefarious activities. His activities were so dangerous to the environment, dangerous to human lives in this country. No matter how you paint him, he's still Wontumi, who caused havoc by his galamsey activities to the people of this country. We cannot run away from that.
All right,
this was someone that did this with impunity.
Why keep him for 7 days?
No, that is like the all
that's EOCO, right?
That is EOCO, okay. And he has lawyers, like we said this morning, the two of them said. He has a brilliant lawyer. Beyond that, I say Gary Nomako was also applying for the varying of the terms of the bail and so on. So that is their issue to handle. It's a law matter. But I think that the investigations bodies have got enough law, and within the boundaries with which they are operating, they can keep you. But if they cannot, the lawyers will have to go to court, and then even if it what normally people call the habeas corpus, you go and file the writ of habeas corpus, and they'll produce the body. If you think that they are holding this guy illegally, and they know all the law.
But do you think he was held illegally? How do you feel about it?
For me, I don't feel anything about it. Just like he also never felt anything about his activities that were causing people's trouble in this country.
Okay.
People who drank his water and got sick. How did Wontumi feel?
Drank which water?
The waters that were polluted.
Honorable, you have evidence that he was polluted. Because if you say what you're saying, it's as though you have evidence that, oh, he polluted this water, this person drank it, and this person fell sick.
When Erasu talked about the Tanunumri water, where his minorities were sipping into the water, where they said that with that you are supposed to, is it 100 meters apart? 100 meters before you mine, and he was doing that, and his government was in power. You see, we, the political, when your government is in power, your activities and your conduct should help your government at the end of the day. Okay. They should not cause trouble for you. Right. His activities
so all that you are saying, until proven guilty, it's allegation.
Yes, but for now, until the investigation, we are not.
See, if it's an allegation,
hunting
you cannot be speaking with all.
No, but that is my
but for you, so it's an allegation. We want
an allegation. Like you can confirm.
Yeah.
The posture here is that he can confirm.
Yes, because I'm speaking based on reports that
even these are words from you.
Yes,
because certainly. We don't own rights to what you say. Those are your rights.
Of course.
No, but he has a distance.
No, because the way the posturing is,
so what it is serious.
For us here,
he's saying what he's saying is an allegation from him, not from us, and so he owns his words.
Rosie, you know, interestingly. the way Honorable is talking as if Chairman Wontumi has polluted all the waters in Ghana. Today, Chairman Wontumi was in South, but I can tell you that Galamsey is ongoing.
Which is wrong.
To the extent that Erastus did a report where NDC is using, according to Erastus, national security guys to capture a mine, to mine. To the extent that they've even taken over some of the Galamsey sites.
All right.
There is a story. There's a story. There's a story that the Awawin Traditional Council has petitioned the president that the MP for Awawin is engaged in Galamsey and that they want the president to act on it.
You know the number of forests.
A whole traditional council to petition the president on a member of parliament.
Yes.
Who has heard anything about it? Nobody has arrested the MP. Nobody, the traditional council with the paramount chief there, they've petitioned the president. Nobody has heard anything. Galamsey is ongoing under this government. And today you are saying that Wontumi has killed people. Then upon all the things that we know, from that. And your people are killing people now.
All right, so
but it's wrong.
That means your people are killing people.
Wrong.
For whatever is being said
this morning, who is into it too, it's wrong.
So whatever is being said this morning, I mean,
they cannot have the 7 days
have said what they want to say, which we have disassociated ourselves from it.
Of course.
Because it's an allegation, and until proven guilty, we can't sit on TV and say he has done A, B, C, D. And we don't have any facts that Chairman Wontumi has killed anybody, and so we can't say that Chairman Wontumi has killed anybody. That's the NDC's words. Yeah. But Kwame Nkrumah, say something. Yes. I want to read a few comments. So right after Kwame Nkrumah, if you haven't sent in your messages yet, you can go ahead and send it to us on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. Yes.
Yes, I agree with you that these are allegations still on the Chairman Wontumi issue. These are allegations which have to be proven in a court of law. And I also heard about the mines being taken over by some armed people. I don't know where they were from, who mined for a few days and then absconded. And it's a fact that Galamsey is still going on, but with these forest reserves being flushed out and all that, I think the government is on track to bring an end to Galamsey. And just as the chiefs have petitioned the president, we, the citizenry too, anytime we see something, we have to say something. We shouldn't say that we belong to this party or that party or this person is my friend or whatever. We need to expose the rot when we counter it. That is it for the Wontumi issue. But would you want me to comment on the OSP, or we are not?
No, we are now going on to the OSP. Okay. So I'll read a few comments, messages that have come in. And I want to say a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. If you're looking for any gadget which is authentic, go to Franco Trading Enterprise. You can pick the number on the screen and call them, or you can actually download the app on your phone, which is very simple, which is the Franco Trading app. Now, when you download this app, you can purchase any item of your choice and it will be delivered to you at your doorstep. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Perfie. For further inquiries, you can reach us on www.francotradingenterprise.com. All right, so I'll read a few messages that have come in, and right after that, I will come back and we'll be discussing the OSP versus Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. All right. So I'm going to start off, let me go down, because I like my 6 a.m. people, you know, they keep us going. They come in so early. They're like, yo, I'm with you. All right, so I'll start with 6:19 a.m. I had my very first message coming in, and it says, Chairman Wontumi, now you know how your own people has managed to keep you behind bars for well over 7 days. Wontumi was granted bail on Tuesday, but instead of Afenyo and his parliamentary lawbreakers taking steps to get him released, they decided to sit in the middle of the road to block traffic. Afenyo and co. didn't go to court. They instead went to court on Friday only to block further the ability of Wontumi's lawyer to release him. Afenyo and co. was intentional to help keep Wontumi behind bars over the weekend. Oh, really? I think this is a bit below the belt, because I don't think they'll do that on purpose. Good morning. I'm Eben from Kwabenya. Former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta can't hide behind his sickness to escape accountability at all. He should come and answer for his deeds. I think it is a direction for OSP to declare him a fugitive, period. Regards to Ajahawa of GRA. Good morning, Madam Roslyn, and your panelist, Big Alasko from Garu Tempane. My greetings to all the youth in Tempane constituency. I'm in full support of the corruption fight by John Mahama administration by investigating the past appointees. Ken Ofori-Atta should be brought back to face justice, whether alive or dead. Hey, really? Good morning, Roslyn. I'm loving the approach of the OSP and the seriousness it has attacked to its work. It seems Ghanaians have now come to agree that we need to stand against wrongdoing, that's corruption, and together build our country for the good of all. God has descended on us at this time to renew our minds. Let's all join the boat and rescue our dear nation from greedy and evil people. Stephen Opoku Saki. Michelle Cam. Teacher Kojo from Tepa, is it Eyina Suano? All right. OSP should stop that. Which country would hand over a sick person to be brought to Ghana to die? Why don't you give Ken Ofori-Atta time to finish his treatment? This is political as usual. Didn't the NDC speculate that Ken Ofori-Atta was dying from a liver transplant in 2022? So what do you want to bring the sick man to do in police custody, or do you want him to die? If Chairman Wontumi wasn't healthy enough, he would have been dead by now. Greetings to Mr. Owusu Bempa. All right, thank you very much. Kojo Peki says that, good morning, Roslyn. The NPP lawyers know very well EOCO granted Wontumi bail within the 48-hour law. They are using the detention of Wontumi to do their internal politics and screen to frustrate institutions coming after them to retrieve all loots. The law is the law. Do you think it is so? Honorable, Honorable Wontumi, do you agree with this?
Oh. The 48 hours.
Yeah, you know, he was actually granted the bail
that's
within
what
48
I'm saying,
hours.
That it is quite...
And they couldn't meet it.
Yes. And I was even surprised with that because knowing who the NPP are, they should have been able to mobilize a 50 million, property to stand for him. But like he said, there are most houses in Accra that you look at, they do not have the proper registered documentation to be able to. But when they say to be justified, it means that you must put someone who is credible, or the property must be wetted. Okay. So that in future, if that property is being sold to forfeit it, they won't have any challenge with it.
Okay.
So for me, Chairman Wontumi himself, by the way he talks, I thought that he had property worth that, and that he could use his own property to do.
He was supposed to buy Chelsea at a point in time. It's a joke, though. Anyway.
We've gone past there. Let's see how it pans out. Okay. Investigations are still on.
All right. Musa Batoina Sawati says it's important we set the record straight. Keeping Chairman Wontumi beyond 48 hours is not illegal if he has been granted bail but has failed to meet the bail conditions. Kwame Nkrumah Botsio, so?
Well, even if you grant the person bail and the person is not able to meet the conditions, it's only a court of law that can mandate you, any state institution, to keep a person beyond 48 hours, unless the court itself has granted the person court bail and the person is not able to meet the bail conditions.
Okay.
But as a state institution or the police, if you grant somebody bail within the 48 hours and the person is not able to meet it, you have to take him to court for the court to grant you a warrant to keep him beyond the 48 hours.
Right.
Yes.
So we hope to hear from EOCO to know why they kept him beyond that 48 hours. Yes. All right. Probably they went to court without us knowing.
But EOCO will say that he had not... The excuse will be that we gave him bail and he had not made the bail.
No, I mean, from what Kwame Nkrumah is saying, even if you give him bail and he's not able to meet it, beyond the 48 hours, you don't have the right to keep the person unless the court says so. Yeah, exactly. So we want to hear from EOCO. Probably EOCO went to court and court gave them that bail.
They did it.
That opportunity,
they didn't.
Sorry.
What they did was they waited till Thursday to give him the bail. So his lawyers were trying...
Which was 48 hours
They arrested
anyway.
him on Tuesday. They waited till Thursday to...
It's not waited. It's still within the law.
Yes,
within the time
yes, within the law.
Yes.
Thursday was left to Thursday, Friday, then you have a weekend. So Thursday they gave him the bail. The lawyers tried to get the bail met. So Honorable Kennedy, Japan and party people started going. But you know, when you submit the sureties and whatever properties you are using, they have to vet it to make sure it meets the amount. After vetting, they now check whether you even pay taxes and all these things. So it goes through the whole day. Then they realize that, okay, they said some of the properties were incompetent. That's the word they use.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it means that it doesn't meet
The criteria. Yeah.
Then he sleeps until Friday. Then Friday, they go through the whole process, finish in the evening around 9 p.m. or so, which they couldn't finish. Because as at the time, they had met, but then they now had to go and vet. And it was about 9 p.m. So they had to close. Then keep him till Monday.
Okay.
Then, because weekends, you don't bail people on weekends. Then yesterday, which was Monday, they went through the process again, finished, and then got him out in the evening.
Right.
So that's why I keep saying that. If the state wants to use this full force on you, they will.
They will. All right. Okay, so he's saying that the MPP and CPP panelists misleading the public on this matter are doing a disservice to truth and justice. Why are they twisting the law just to serve their self-centered political agenda? Let's stop weaponizing a legal process for propaganda. Ghana deserves better. Okay, Musa Batwa says so. Good morning, Roslyn, and to your panelists. Wontumi has shown mercy. He should have been kept for 3 months. No. He can't be kept for 3 months. He hasn't been found guilty, unfortunately, darling. And the man who went to his radio station with gold bars, showing the world that he is the gold dealer, destroyed our land without license. I thought he said President Mahama begs him before coming to Kumasi. NDC government is not doing what we expect of them. Ghanaians will be disappointed in them if they don't deal with MPP thieves. Until proven guilty, Philip, the person can't be behind bars. Good morning, Sister Roslyn. If there are witches that are destroying the country, we must hand them, period. Pro-firm, Bono. All right, pro-firm. Dear Roslyn, I'm beginning to trust the OSP by redeclaring stubborn Ofori-Atta a wanted person and a fugitive from justice. I am also happy Wontumi, after 7 days in the custody of EOCO, has been released on bail pending his arraignment before law court for prosecution for his alleged heinous crimes against the state by destroying water bodies and forest reserves. I'm looking forward to see the prosecution of this recalcitrant guy called Wontumi. I'm also looking forward to hear His Excellency John Mahama declaring a state of emergency on Galamsey in forest reserves and water bodies as he demanded from Akufo-Addo when in opposition. Good morning, dear Chelsea Champel. Are we going to see the revocation of LI 246? Is it 2462? Is it? What's it? LI? What was it? What's the LI again?
I'm not sure now.
The water bodies and
yes,
the land.
But I think it's not going to happen anytime.
It's not going to happen. Wow.
Yes, because
wow. In Parliament, you guys are not going to revoke this license?
Because I've listened to government officials, even though they say they will do. I don't see the urgency with it. And in any case, you see, I just don't get them. Because at this point, it was one of their major promises to deal with this Galamsey issue. And to date, we are in about 5 months, we are in 6 months or 5 months. And to date, nothing is happening. By now, we should have seen a bill in Parliament.
It's 2462.
Yeah,
but it just came to Parliament. It is this time that we promised to bring the bill to Parliament.
But the bill is not in
completely
Parliament.
Revoke everything.
The bill is not in Parliament.
But you
brought a lot of bills to Parliament.
All right, let's see what's going to happen to it.
So let's
fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Good morning. In fact, Wontumi is a real joker. He thinks when he portrayed that posture, Ghanaians will plead for him. He's lying. He's not sick. Hey, how can you say these things?
People are insensitive.
Good morning, Roslyn. What has happened to Wontumi is very unfortunate. This is a man who has denied all allegations leveled against him to the extent of suing the lands minister for wrongfully accusing him of something he has not done. You arrest a man and deny him of his medication only to be rushing him to the hospital several times, yet EOCO kept him in their custody for 48 hours without arraigning him before court. Have heard a lot of people say it happened in the past. As a country, we should all be careful the kind of country we are building. We all saw him yesterday and the state he was in. Clearly, he has gone through a lot in all of this. No court has found Chairman Wontumi guilty of any charges, yet he was handled in such an inhumane manner. This is the Ghana we are building. Posterity, posterity, posterity. Ooh, so many messages. Wow. All right, so I'm going to come back and read more of the messages. Those are a lot of messages. Chairman Wontumi is very popular. super popular. Anyway, let's go into the conversation of the OSP versus Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. But before that, we want to take a look at, what happened with regards to Chairman Wontumi's release. When he came out, people are saying, oh, he looked so frail. Maybe you haven't seen the video yet. Take a look. So that's Chairman Wontumi, looking very frail. He does look very frail. It looks like he's lost a lot of weight as well.
As I say, bug I am, right?
Yeah, it's like he didn't drink enough water. He looks dehydrated.
Yeah.
We pray for him. But anyway, the law is the law. Yeah. For some of us, we will bring you every update on this situation as to whether he'll be found guilty or not. We'll follow up and give you every single information that you need to know. Now let's move on to our next conversation, which is the Office of the Special Prosecutor, versus Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. Yesterday, the Office of the Special Prosecutor declared Mr. Ofori-Atta wanted again, a fugitive. Now, a month ago, about 2 months ago, he was declared a fugitive, and he pleaded that he was going to show up in the month of May so they could have a conversation. Now, this conversation was supposed to have taken place yesterday, and the Office of the Special Prosecutor said they waited, but he didn't show up. Now, before that, he and his lawyers wrote to the Office of the Special Prosecutor to pardon them because he had to undergo treatment or surgery for this month. But unfortunately, from what the Office of the Special Prosecutor is saying, because the letter didn't come from a doctor, but rather from the lawyers, they can't say that it is true that he's indeed sick, because he had actually asked them to give him some time to undergo surgery in the month of March. And when the surgery was cancelled, he didn't tell them anything until June, about 3 or 4 days for him to show up. That's when he wrote a letter to them and pleaded with them for that. He also asked for a virtual meeting, which they have declined, and they are saying that they want him back into Ghana for them to have a good conversation. So it's more of an interrogation, right? They say it's not witch hunting. And from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, they say that if they've managed to invite a former president before, then how much more a mere former finance minister? Kwame Nkrumah Botsio, you listened?
Yes, I did. It's always a joy to listen to the Special Prosecutor. I mean, his thoughts are always well put across, it's
Kwame Nkrumah, before you continue, maybe there are people out there who don't know, what he's under investigation for. So let me go through what it is. So there is Petroleum and Minerals Revenue Assurance. That's contractual arrangements between Strategic Mobilization, Ghana Limited, and Ghana Revenue Authority. Also, there's the ECG contract termination, where the termination of a contract between ECG and Beijing Chiao Cheng Technology, National Cathedral Project, procurement procedures, and financial transactions related to the National Cathedral. Let me take it from the screen so everybody can see it. All right, so Office of the Special Prosecutor investigates Ken Ofori-Atta. These are the 5 major issues being probed. And I start contractual arrangements between Strategic Mobilization, Ghana Limited, and GRA under Petroleum and Minerals Revenue Assurance. Termination of a contract between ECG and Beijing Chiao Cheng Technology, that's BXC. Also, procurement procedures and financial transactions related to the National Cathedral project. And with the cathedral project, that's what people are really talking about here. Ministry of Health contracts with Service Ghana Auto Group Limited for the purchase and maintenance of 307 ambulances. Just before the MPP went into opposition, this particular conversation came up where the NDC were concerned about the amount of monies that were being released to purchase and maintain over 300 ambulances. Also, how funds from the GRA's tax P-Fund account were handled and disbursed. So these are the things. Now, the dates, these are the dates, and I'll give you the dates. So January 2025, OSP names Ken Ofori-Atta as suspects in 5 cases and asked him to appear on February 10th. Now, the 31st of January 2025, lawyers of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta came out to say that he's abroad for medical reasons. Now, let's not forget that one of the things that the Office of the Special Prosecutor keeps saying is that their message coming in from the lawyers doesn't have any doctor's report attached to it, and they're concerned about it because you can't just go to your boss and say to your boss, I am sick, I want 5 years off. You just say 5 years off because I have cancer, and your boss will say, okay, yes, it's fine. You have to prove that you have the cancer, and it has to come from a doctor or anybody from that medical side. On the 5th of February, which is my birthday, OSP rejects his indefinite absence, demands a return date by 10th of February. Now, on the 10th of February, doctor's note submitted with vague details and no clear return date. All right? So they did submit a doctor's note, but they say it's with vague details. So it's not the kind of details that they would have wished for. On the 12th of February, OSP declares Mr. Ofori-Atta a fugitive from justice. 18th of February, Ofori-Atta gives return date in May, and OSP removes him from the wanted list. He did write a petition to OSP saying that he had some surgery that he had to undergo, which was supposed to be in the month of March, and hence, out of that surgery, he had to go through recovery and all of that. So they should make it by the end of May. He will show up in Ghana, show up in the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and the interrogation can happen. And Special Prosecutor agreed to it, and so took his name out from the fugitive or the wanted list. Now, March 2025, this is what happens. Mr. Ofori-Atta sues the Office of the Special Prosecutor for declaring him wanted, demands compensation and removal of related social media posts. I want to ask, do you think this upsets the Office of the Special Prosecutor?
Of course it is.
Is it, eh?
Yeah, possibly.
Because I have listened to you.
Yeah.
I have taken it down. Now you go sue me.
Yeah. Possibly.
Okay. All right. So 28th of March, the Human Rights Court hears an interim application from Mr. Ofori-Atta. Ofori-Atta must report to the Office of the Special Prosecutor on 2nd of June 2025, which was yesterday. So that was the deadline. Now, again, Mr. Ofori-Atta asked for May, but the Office of the Special Prosecutor extended it to June and said, don't worry, if you say end of May, we will give you 2 extra days, prepare yourself and come in. He failed to show up. And this was the condition. At that time, the condition was, if you fail to show up, you will be declared a fugitive again. And he has failed to show up. But he had reasons. Yeah. And his reason is that he has another scheduled surgery for this month of June. But the Office of the Special Prosecutor says this again is not coming from a doctor. And if he knew that he didn't have a surgery in the month of March, then he should have told them at that time. Don't wait just a few days to time. You come out and say, this is it. And you want a virtual interrogation. They want the person in flesh and in blood. Kwame Nkrumah, now you can make your point.
Yes, as I was saying, it's always a joy to listen to the OSP. His presentations are always...
It's on your phone.
His presentations are always very lucid, and we, the general public, we do learn a lot from him. I listened to him, and one thing that I liked about his press conferences, there was one particular case that he didn't mention any names. That is the one to do with the NPA.
The NPA, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is the way to go. I was very happy about that because there are times when you mention names, at the end of the day, there's no prosecution and persons are acquitted and discharged. But then for the rest of their lives, I mean, fingers are pointed and all that. So I think he did very well in that sense. And as regards the medical letters by Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, from what you wrote, I have not seen the current letters. I saw some of them in the past, early this year, in the media. But I do know that you can have your client excused from court or from a case if you're able to bring a letter from a recognized medical doctor or facility saying that you are either a flight risk or you are not well enough to attend court. And it also falls into Article 19(2)(e), as I pointed out from 1992 Constitution. A suspect is not an accused, but is akin to an accused person. And you should be given adequate time and facilities. And if you believe your health is such that you cannot make yourself available, that should be respected. Even in Ghana, I'm dealing with a case where the lawyer on the other side, he's so ill. I mean, he's at home. I mean, I visited him. He's so ill that he's not even given access to his phone because his blood pressure cannot be regulated. He's not allowed to watch TV. Any little excitement can kill him. However, you do need medical personnel to attest to that fact. I realized the presentation on the screen said that a medical advice was given, but the instructions were vague. So I do not know what was contained there. However, I know that if a doctor writes that you are not well enough to travel, you are not well enough for any activity that causes any sort of excitement, that is a rebuttable presumption. The one that letter is served on can also do further investigations or can also assign their own doctor to also go and examine the person. Without knowing the contents of this vague letter, we cannot draw any conclusions. However, if that letter did not make Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta a flight risk or did not say that he cannot submit himself to any activities that will get him excited, then I think they have to go further to procure a medical report that is not vague, that is very clear, so that the OSP will be convinced. I do not think...
But it is a case whereby they even told the OSP that he has cancer, right?
Yeah, but you know, having cancer in itself, does not mean that you cannot submit.
Travel.
There are different types of... there was this musician in the UK. I think the day he discovered his cancer was Christmas Day. I've forgotten his name, David Bowie or something. He discovered the cancer on Christmas Day. Within a few days, he was dead because apparently it's an aggressive form of cancer. Okay. And we have people too who've lived with cancer for years. So you cannot say that having cancer in itself does not mean you cannot travel. Right. You need a doctor to attest to the fact that you cannot travel. Okay. Sometimes you can even have somebody who does not have any serious disease, but they may be undergoing a period of stress or something that is not entirely medical, but which means that they have to be excused for some days.
I think the Office of the Special Prosecutor is saying that they are not sure whether he's really in the United States or not.
They can find ways to establish, because a medical advice that came, of course, it will come from a hospital. It will come from a doctor. And I know in the United States, I don't know where he is, but apparently in the United States, the OSP can write seeking for further information as to whether he is there or not.
Or not, right.
And of course, I heard about OSP flying out to go and see Mr. Adams, Mahama. Yes. that option is also there.
Maybe because he gave his location.
Yes.
But from what OSP said yesterday, they can't even say factually that he is in the United States.
Okay, then we have a problem.
Yes,
there.
because he said he could be in South Africa,
yeah.
he could be in United Kingdom, he could be in India.
Yeah.
They don't know because he's saying he's in the United States.
Yeah.
But he has, I think, from what he's saying, they don't know for a fact that he's there.
Then there's a problem there because you, the suspect, you have to give your full cooperation. In 2017, when MPP took over, I had to represent some NDC bigwigs, and they made themselves available. I'm not saying that to draw a comparison per se, but you have to make yourself available. At that time, the police sector, they were very cooperative and went through the processes. So as a suspect, you have to make yourself fully available. As I always say, the Ghanaian judiciary is, in my view, one of the strongest in the whole world. Once you submit yourself, if there isn't enough evidence for you to be convicted, the case will be discontinued against you. You'll be acquitted and discharged. Our finance minister, he's had a case against him. Discontinued. Mr. Richard Jakpa, he's had a case against him. Discontinued. Yeah. So I don't think Honorable Ofori-Atta has anything to fear. I think he should give his full cooperation to the OSP. If he cannot travel, at least he should make his location known. And I also heard about video conferencing. Virtual conference. And I think that can also be explored.
Well, but however, they don't want it.
They said no, yes. But however, that does not stop the Honorable Ofori-Atta camp from making their location known. Because, you know, it's like he who comes to equity comes with clean hands. I know that the OSP may be a bit upset, but as a suspect, you should also give them full access to you so that eventually the law will take its course. Because whether you feel you are being witch-hunted or not, the judiciary is not going to assist anybody to witch-hunt you. The witch-hunting may end in your arrest, may end in your detention, but as for your conviction, I know the courts will not be complicit. So I think he has nothing to fear. If he's not well enough to travel, he should make this known. He should make his location known. And I think the OSP is bound to accept it.
Michael.
It's quite interesting. It's such a lot of drama going on.
Yeah, a lot of drama, isn't it?
A lot of drama going on. With the issue that Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta's whereabouts is unknown to the OSP, I beg to differ because he submitted a medical report from a well-recognized medical facility in the United States. And in the US, you know, you cannot falsify such information. A hospital will not falsify such information, especially the stature of the hospital, they won't. So when you get a letter like that from such a facility, it's easy to verify.
But they say that particular letter was vague,
If the OSP wants to go the extra mile, you see, the OSP does not work alone in these matters when the person is out of Ghana's jurisdiction. That's why in the Airbus scandal, the OSP indicated that he does not have the rights or the authority to start extraditory processes on people. And that is the Foreign Affairs Ministry or so that will do it in conjunction with the OSP. So in the same way, the Foreign Affairs Ministry has various consulates and embassies around. In the United States, we have embassies. We have officers there who are working on missions and so on. If you want someone to ascertain somebody's whereabouts, it's easy, especially when you have a letter showing the hospital he's in. They can let the foreign missions send people just to verify whether he's in the hospital.
No, Michael, I don't think they said he's in the hospital. So that's
the hospital he's doing. He's going through the procedure.
Okay, so
and the OSP says that he's taking notes of the biopsy that they've submitted.
From what the OSP
he still wants him in Ghana.
So from what the OSP said yesterday, and I stand to be corrected, is that yes, that particular letter that came previously.
Yeah.
I think we should let's take a look at the video, or let's take a listen to what the OSP had to say.
Therefore, The OSP views Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyer's letter dated 28 May 2025 as an expression of utter bad faith on the part of Mr. Ofori-Atta, and it confirms our long-held, well-considered opinion and conclusion that Mr. Ofori-Atta has no intention of voluntarily returning to the jurisdiction and to attend the OSP. Further, this office is unaware of his purported information to the court, whether orally or by filed processes, of the alleged change in his circumstances. Today is Monday, 2 June 2025. It is more than 3 hours past the scheduled time of Mr. Ofori-Atta's attendance at the OSP, and Mr. Ofori-Atta failed to attend the OSP today. Mr. Ofori-Atta's conduct is totally unacceptable and a baleful spite at law enforcement and criminal investigations. It ends here. It ends today. We will no longer accommodate him. Consequently, the OSP redeclares that Mr. Ofori-Atta is a wanted person and a fugitive from justice. His name is hereby re-entered on the OSP's list of wanted persons. The OSP will take all necessary legal steps to secure Mr. Ofori-Atta's return to the jurisdiction and to answer to the criminal inquiries against him. In pursuance of this, about 30 minutes before this briefing, I triggered processes for the issuance of an Interpol Red Notice for the location and provisional arrest of Mr. Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta in whichever jurisdiction pending extradition or his surrender. Around the same time, I dispatched a request for extradition processes to be instituted for the provisional apprehension in any jurisdiction in which Mr. Ofori-Atta may be located or found, and his extradition to the Republic of Ghana. The OSP will prefer criminal charges in the courts against Mr. Ofori-Atta in due course, whether in absentia or otherwise. The principle upon which we proceed is that no person, regardless of title, regardless of status, regardless of medical condition, is beyond the reach of inquiry by the OSP. Therefore, the OSP views Mr. Ofori-Atta.
All right, so the OSP is viewing Mr. Ofori-Atta as a fugitive. Michael, you were making a point.
Yes, so I feel the OSP is going through its processes, but then be as it may, Mr. Ofori-Atta is also exercising his rights under our laws. His lawyers say he's unwell. The OSP has come out to say he has cancer, which I personally feel was unnecessary. He should have said it in public, because a lawyer writes to you, apart from the fact that you are the OSP, you're also a lawyer. A lawyer writes to you that my client has cancer. He's done biopsy. Then you put it out in the public. I feel it's very unfortunate. But be as it may, maybe the OSP feels he has to inform Ghanaians for us to know the state of the case. And based on that, he put it out. Well, there are issues surrounding this Ofori-Atta that we say he has to come and answer. The ambulance purchases, the SML contracts. What baffles me, is it the same SML that is working? Because quite recently, I saw a couple of documentaries on Joy News and other multimedia stations on SML, and they even held, there's a program at UPSO or so in one of the universities where they came to explain the work they have done, to the extent that before they came in, GRA was unable to collect all the revenues in the petroleum downstream sector. You know, every fuel that you buy, there's taxes on it that goes to GRA, about 1 cedi 44 pesos or 1 cedi 40 pesos. And before, they were using manual ways to collect it, to gather the information. Based on, they had papers that they issue, I think receipts, copies of receipts that they issue. And they showed a video of a room where there are stockpiles of papers and so on. And based on the technology that they've introduced in the various depots, they're able to now, on real time, see how much funds has to come to GRA. And now GRA has increased its revenue mobilization by more than 100%. So
it's the same, you want to know if it's the same SML? If it's the same
SML, I'll be shocked that the same institution that you feel Ofori-Atta gave a contract to collect our mobilized revenue in the downstream sector, this current government is still using it.
What's in that
GRA
contract?
Is still using it.
What's in that contract? That's what the problem is.
What baffles me is why has the contract not been abrogated?
Okay, definitely.
Well, the person
that's an interesting point.
Yes.
Yeah.
the person is being called to Ghana to come and face the law for investigation, but the contract has not been abrogated. It's ongoing. It's ongoing. It baffles me. Then the ambulance.
Okay.
Where this country, there were no ambulances in this country. When you get any emergency or there's an accident, you see people being carried into pickups and so on. Today, everywhere you pass, you are driving and you hear ambulance passing you. We made an effort to make sure about 300 ambulances were brought in this country. My position is, people brought empty containers as ambulances. Today, they are working free. Somebody brought ambulances which were fit for purpose and are being used. And you are saying that he should come and answer. I think
I think Michael,
Ofori-Atta will have his day.
I think for this one in particular,
Ofori-Atta will have his day.
You know, I don't think it's faulting the fact that
I'm just asking
these
questions.
ambulances.
Rosemary.
The ambulances that were brought were needful.
Yes, they were necessary at the time.
It's actually helped Ghanaians.
Rosemary,
but what
if you had allowed me to make my point, Ofori-Atta will have his day. We should watch how we handle things as politicians, as state institutions. You'll be, for good intentions, you'll be doing things, for instance, purchasing ambulances for the country with all the good intentions. But one day, somebody will feel like they don't understand, and you'll be hounded this way and be put on wanted list. Based on your good intentions.
All right.
You understand? That's the point I'm trying to make.
The cathedral too?
The cathedral started with very good intentions. Because look at the cathedral, read about the cathedral. It started with very good intentions. The only reason that they couldn't do it was because at a point there was a loud this thing against it, that people were not happy with it. People felt we could have used it for other things. Okay? But if you look at the purpose that it was going to serve, apart from it being used as a state facility where you have state events, it was going to serve as tourism. I've seen...
Michael, I'm not cutting you here, but I think that let's call a spade a spade. If you're building a cathedral and you dig a hole with that amount of money, you ought to...
No, but what was the full contract sum? If you understand contracts...
Wait. Whatever
the full contract sum was about 400 million.
Whatever it is, so Ghanaians felt that there was an amount of money that was used. I'm just saying. I'm saying, Michael, I'm just saying, Ghanaians feel that there's an amount of money that was used. OSP says, come and answer to it. And so if OSP, if you have every document that shows that you did not, that whatever you did by digging the hole with that amount of money was not something to do with corruption, then of course, everything will be cleared. So that's all you have to do.
He has to answer.
Exactly.
He has to answer, but sometimes we also have to look at the nitty-gritty of the issues. For instance, when a contract sum is 400 million, if you are putting up a facility and your contract sum is, let's say, 20 million, contractors and architects will normally, the initial percentage for the architects and mobilization and so about 10%, they will take it up front before they start.
Anyway,
so
Michael,
some of these things can happen. But then I'm not here to say, like, plead for Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. He will have his day. He has his lawyers. Ken Ofori-Atta is a well-known, established person in Ghana. He has businesses in Ghana and so on. What I'm saying is that the law, you may use the law, but everybody has their rights under the law. When you draw a sword against someone citing the law as your reason for drawing that sword, know that the person also has his right to defend himself with the same law.
Right.
You understand? So just as it was done in the Airbus scandal, I've read a report from the OSP in the Airbus scandal, where the OSP said he flew to the UK to interrogate the suspects in it. Ken Ofori-Atta says he's going through medical procedure. If the OSP wants to go the extra mile, he can fly to the US.
OSP says he doesn't know where he is.
Oh, come on. If
I didn't say it.
In Ghana here.
This is not my words.
In Ghana here.
This is OSP's words.
But the same OSP,
I don't even know if he's in South Africa or he's in UK.
You see, that's why I said there's too much drama. When we go like this, sometimes I respect the OSP so much, but sometimes when these little play around it makes sometimes makes us feel like it's too much.
Anyway,
Michael,
let me move to Honorable Wontumi before they tell me that my time is up. Honorable Wontumi.
You see, Michael, the procurement of the ambulances
Was due process or the procurement procedure followed? These are critical issues we must examine. So if it went through the procurement process, everything was fine, then there's nothing to be afraid of. You'll be exonerated at the end of the day. Because before it goes through, the Attorney General must also write his opinion and so on. So it cannot be entirely that the one who is into this ambulance contract will be having his day.
Exactly.
Two, you talked about...
It's well established.
You talked about the fact that why is the SML not abrogated? Before you abrogate a contract, we know that there are certain clauses that you look at whether it is prudent to abrogate it or not, because it may even cause financial loss to the state. As we talk now, I have not seen the contract, I don't know what is there. But when the investigations were done, even custom officers who were working said that they had no link. What SMA was doing, actually they were doing nothing.
GRA is saying something different today.
I'm coming.
Today,
I'm coming. And this contract was supposed, at the end of the day, you pay $1 billion dollars to SML. Any contract that you enter that is at the detriment of the people of this country, then you don't have to. Because $1 billion dollars at the end of 10 years for one single contract. Look at the circumstances running it. This man, the man who was managing the SML, was working with, was it a consultant to GRA? Later on, he had to resign. And so the issues are murkier. Look at the front line, this Nigerian company that was at the airport doing the
Frontiers.
The Frontiers Health Service.
The COVID one.
These are challenges. And sometimes I wonder, Rosalind, the finance minister, you are in charge of the finance of this country. You should be worried that funds are not properly being used, and you are presiding over it. And all these allegations, it's not shameful that after you have served your country, these allegations are being foisted on you, or you have been called to answer. There were some finance ministers before you came. Is that how they rule the country? You came and look at the challenges are so many. And I think that the OSP should be allowed to do his job. No one should tell the OSP as to how to do his jobs and so on. Honorable, he might have gone to London or so to check or to interview the Airbus, those who were involved in it and so on. Maybe this time he said, I don't know where Ken Ofori-Atta is. And probably he feels that Ken Ofori-Atta scandal is much more heavier than what he went and did. So he wants him home at his table. If he's healthy, nothing prevents him from coming down.
He says he's not healthy.
And then it is a platform for he Ken Ofori-Atta to exonerate himself, to tell the world that these allegations that you have sent against him is not true.
But you know, to be fair, he has said that he can do virtual because he's not healthy.
Yeah, but the OSP rejects virtual doing. And he said
So
that
rejected the virtual.
I know he's rejected. So this is what then people will say, that why are you rejecting the virtual, meaning that you are really witch hunting?
No, but if you are witch hunting him and he has some money, he has to bring it. What you do is stop a witch who is carrying money.
He says it's interrogation you want.
But why
so I'll give you virtual interrogation.
So when it comes to these issues, you always come out to the public that he has some money. Some of these causing financial loss may not necessarily be because you've taken money, but sometimes because you've even breached the process.
Allow me to talk. Yes, the process breaching
exactly. So that comment
that's
that
why we
if
say
he has
that.
some money, he should
that's
bring
why
it.
we normally say that
We
willfully cause financial
we say
loss.
these things to the public, and the
Not
public
just
always
financial
thinks
loss.
that when we talk about financial loss, because
not just financial loss.
Okay.
Financial
We
loss
need
is
to
not
correct
enough.
this
But if
impression.
you willfully did it, knowingly that what you are doing will bring financial. That's how the law is.
But if it's financial loss, like what Michael is saying, it doesn't necessarily mean that the money is...
That is what I'm saying, that financial loss is different from willfully causing, knowing that doing this will cause the country this way and you did it. That is why, that is the real law.
His point.
That is the real law about causing financial. It's not just financial loss. If the financial loss comes and it's not damaging, that if you intentionally, he knows that you intentionally caused, knowing that putting 58 million in a hole will not yield any fruition. You want and put it there. You willfully cause, knowingly. And you know, some of the members of parliament came and said that he did not even follow parliamentary approval and so on. And you cannot use any penny without parliamentary approval. They know that and so on. So, Ken Ofori-Atta, knowing this, you are not a small man. You've managed funds all over. How come that your only term is these are the rotten things that are being, the allegations that are being brought up against you? I think that he didn't manage the finances of this country well and should cooperate with the OSP and come down for all of us to see. Like we said, look, if you haven't done anything wrong, no judge will jail you. That one is very clear.
But they said he could be tried in absentia, though.
Yeah, that is if all means to bring him down.
It's allowed.
Yes.
It's allowed, but then the OSP, as a lawyer, will not want to go to court without all the necessary evidence available. No attorney general or no lawyer will do that. When you do not have the full brief of the case, then you go to try him in absentia, where you might even lose the case.
That's true.
So he'll prefer to do his investigation to get the full brief of the case first. And getting the full brief of the case, that's where he's requesting his presence. And that's what people are saying. You know what? You have other means. You could even travel there.
He says he doesn't know his whereabouts.
Oh, if he has his lawyers, they'll show him. If today the OSP says, I want to go and see if Ofori-Atta is truly sick in that hospital to verify, I'm sure his lawyers will support and help him. Oh, these are fake.
Anyway, sometimes I also saw the picture, we want to take a look at today is actually
the back of somebody's head.
Today's June 3rd, and how many years ago? Please help me out, producer. 10 years on, you know, there was heavy rains and some lives were lost. It's called the June 3rd disaster. I remember I was in the rain as well, but not at that side. I was around the Opebia area. I stayed in that rain for 5 hours.
Really?
Traffic was not moving. But yeah, I had never, 5 hours, we were at one place, 5 hours.
You were young then.
I wasn't that young, you know, but I was like 10 years, I'm 25 years now.
You were lucky that you had enough fuel.
Exactly. So I had to turn around and go sleep at my sister's place at Laboni at that time. Little did I know that, you know, people were struggling to survive around Circle. Let's take a look at this video.
It is the evening of June 3, 2015. Flat water has displaced fuel from the storage tank underground at the fuel station at Circle. What we know is that a cigarette butt was dropped on the water, triggering a big explosion and a huge fireball that turned the skies orange. The flames continued to burn. Solomon Akrugu was just 12 years old, sitting in a room nearby. He suffered severe burns on his face. It completely disfigured him. Eight years later, on a Monday morning, I meet Solomon at East Legon doing what he does every day, begging for alms. That is his only means of survival. He used to sell air freshness but lost his capital when a friend stole his wares. Begging on the streets of East Legon is very difficult for him. Sometimes he gets nothing even after begging the whole day. He says some drivers do not want to see him close to their cars because of his disfigured face. He tells me about an incident where a man asked him to remove the mask he was wearing and stop begging on the streets.
When you see the this traffic and
I only get food to eat when I go to the traffic light to beg for money. Many people do not give me money there. Some of them sack me when I get closer to their cars. Some of them think I am wearing a mask. A man once told me to go and look for a job and stop wearing the mask. A lot of people tell me that. I am really suffering here. The hardship is real. I am always scared when it starts raining because I am homeless. I always sleep in front of shops because I do not have a place I call my home.
Solomon's parents separated after the fire destroyed their house at EOCO. He fears no woman will be attracted to him because of his disfigured face. He says marriage will be difficult because no woman is attracted to him.
I really need the surgery because I am experiencing a lot of stigmatization. People do not want me closer to them because of my disfigured face. That's why I need the surgery. Because that will also help me get a woman to marry later in life. For now, no woman wants me. Even the drivers in cars find it difficult to give me money. Nobody wants me around. When the sun is out and hot and the light hits my face, it's really painful. That's why I need help. I can't touch it because blood will start oozing from my face if I do. So I go and hide in the shade until it's evening.
So I see me. I just have a copy baby. I show. Na maintenance. We are not called for man. Na masapi.
He's pleading for a job as a tiler and is also begging for assistance for plastic surgery. There are many Solomons out there who are living the trauma of the June 3 floods. Victims of the disaster, including Solomon, are yet to be compensated. Last year, the One Ghana movement reminded the government to do so. Here's a member, Senyo Husi.
As expected, authorities trooped in to this very space and on the streets, promising, as usual, to bring perpetrators to book. 7 years on, no one has been held accountable for this very avoidable disaster. The government of the day and the government today have all but paid lip service to justice, accountability, and commensurate compensation for victims.
The One Ghana movement has since 2017 been pursuing justice for the persons affected. One of their lawyers, Samson Ladi Anyenini, led the matter in court in 2018. The case is still pending. He says it has been a very slow process.
Because there have been what we call interlocutory processes in the course, but just very recently we seem to have cleared some of the hurdles. So actually we're in court, this week. Apart from the plaintiffs that were mobilized by One Ghana movement, we know as a matter of fact later, as we discovered, that there were many more who were affected who are not part of the suit in court. Some had left to their villages. Some had left to their hometowns, various places. It's unfortunate that the law has a limitation period within which you can take a suit. And in excess of 5 years, you don't have that opportunity. But I believe that even for those who are in court, the state could look at this more carefully and see what could be done to everybody. For as long as there will be evidence to show that somebody is suffering as a result of what happened, I think that the state could look at being the father for all kind of thing.
Many continue to live through these dangerous floods of trauma, and others are scarred for life. Maxwell Awagba, Joy News.
10 years on, quite sad, isn't it? I mean, we're discussing here how, we can help with a young man and how government can intervene, because at this point, it's too disheartening to know. And he was a young boy at that time, Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah, I have to say that he needs to be helped. And that day I go home at 1:30 a.m. and I owe my life by what God did through the young man like him and others. These young men who wipe our windscreens in traffic and we rush them away. That day I gave 2 people lifts. And when I left my office around 5, the rain had started. And I realized that, no, this is not normal.
Right.
There was something about it. So I dropped the two people. And on our way to drop the first one, I had the two in my car. I passed in front of the Tesano Papai, and my car was swaying.
Ooh.
And then other smaller cars are actually floating around that Penkwa mobile, the Tesano Papai. And one of the people I dropped lived around Fadama. And we got there, and the gutter had overflowed and crossed the road. And part of the gutter did not have barriers. And the street kids,
It's difficult to do.
they had stripped to their boxers and vests, and they had held hands and formed a human chain on each side so that nobody would go and fall. I mean, I was moved to tears. And these boys, I mean, when we see them sometimes, oh, yeah, drug addict, go here, but they showed it. I realized the humanity in these children. And I think we have to do a lot for Solomon, but we also have to remember that there are more of these boys there.
Yeah.
That when the circumstances arise, they help us. But we see them turning to red and
what help are we
tramadol,
giving to them?
all these things. And we thought, oh, drug addicts. But we need to help them. These are human beings that, if assisted to come out of their drug habit or whichever recalcitrant arena they are in, could help the nation. My memories of that day, I got home at 1:30, glad to be home. I called the two people, I dropped them. Then I put on my radio, and I heard about the circle, and I just broke down. I was devastated. It's a day I'll never forget. It's a day I'll never forget.
I mean, the trauma. For me, I couldn't drive in rain for a while. So anytime it's raining, I automatically I'll stop.
Yeah.
You know, I just couldn't move. It was something. It took a while before I was able to get
And quickly, Samson made a good point about the limitation period. I know that, yes, the courts have limitation period, but the executive can take action, source out these people, give them compensation, and even the general public. I know a lot of people donated then. Solomon Akrigu was a minor then. His donation may have gone to somebody
else.
And maybe it may have finished. I mean, 10 years, maybe it was used judiciously, but after 10 years, it's gone. He's permanently scarred. His plastic surgery will cost so much. So I think well-wishers should still reach out. Let's not forget these people and then see how we can help them.
Michael, I think talking about plastic surgery, if we have some good doctors out there and you do this for free, we can bring Solomon in and let's see what you can do. I know I have a very good doctor friend. He's watching me probably. He's in Kumasi. Good morning, Dr. Ofori-Atta. I called on you this morning. And I know you do this for a lot of people for free. He does this. It's something that he does. It's his humanitarian work. He does it for a lot of people. Last year, he did it for a young boy whose ear, he was born without an ear, and he created an ear for him. And so we are bringing Solomon to your doorstep pretty shortly, Dr. Ofori-Atta. We are coming. Yeah.
Personally, it's sad watching it. Very sad. I can say I'm here. I'm feeling, I don't know. I don't know how. I've seen him on the streets before. I didn't know his story, but watching the story makes me very sad. And it's not just about him. I know there are plenty of victims that were involved in the June 3rd disaster. And quite interestingly, the question I kept asking myself, so I sitting is, what kind of support systems do we have as a country? Such that when people go through these things, years later we come back and sit and say the same things all over again. I think it's about time that our social support systems are well enhanced so that such people could be catered for and that they don't have to go through the pain that they are going through now. And most importantly, year on year, I remember during my master's class, one of my lecturers once asked me, why is it that we have a lot of mad people on our streets? And everybody was battling with different answers. And to him, he felt it's because we do not have serious problems like other countries have. For instance, other countries have earthquakes, they have typhoons, they have different types of weather. So you have severe snow, and when it's raining heavily. When the sun is coming out, it's coming heavily at you. So we do not have these excesses of climate conditions and so on. So as a people, we do not plan for anything. And that's the problem that I have.
All right, let me quickly go to Circle. KMJ is there. He's having a conversation with people there. Please, let's take a listen.
10 years of June 3rd flood disaster. Many people still sail over here at Circle, where the most unfortunate thing actually happened 10 years ago. A Tuesday like this, we've got stories about how everything panned out. A fuel station that got flooded, and just a small mistake that actually made a lot of people lose their lives and their livelihood. Today we're here celebrating 10 years. What exactly have we learned from disasters as flood? Have we been able to do many things to ensure that we're not able to find ourselves in the situation again? The rains have come again. Are we going to be experiencing another situation of a sort? It's been 10 years. The survivors, what exactly have their lives been? We're here at Circle this morning to find out what people make of that June 3rd flood disaster and how people have been able to move on. Those who are still selling here, those who were here 10 years ago, those who have been here 20 years ago, what does this make the difference when it comes to what they have learned and what happened 10 years ago? I've been speaking to a few people over here at Circle to find out. They'll also share their stories with us, those who are here, those who have come to also hear the story, what they make of that situation. They'll also share that with us here. But I'm here with a woman who has lived here, has stayed here, and has done business here for the last 30 years and more. She was here when the situation happened. She's going to be sharing her story with me and exactly where she was at that time and what happened to her. Mommy, let's say. Boko. You mean to say?
Boko.
Yo, June 3rd disaster, no 10 years near. Now, at the time I issued the buy.
Nami wahaya.
Baby out here.
Baby, I'm here. Ya, na mitonwa de. Nami wahaya. Eti Tuesday no. Ensuo toye. Etoya ne jaye. Eti Wednesday no. Anopa no nsuo ne san toye. Etoya ne san jaye. Eti ebo be se 4 o'clock no. Ene nsuo ne san etoya. No ne toya. Eyiri ba ya ma enipa bebre wu ye nkrofo ene ya wira wo. Ye wa ya nkrofo wu ye no. Ye wira ho ne pa ntinya senketoa. Enti
Saturday now what here?
Me wa ya me to tinye entitambia sensuo to a ye ginam eto tinye no enti Saturday ne ye ginam na woro ha enti ne ye gira wo no so a ye to tinye hu ya
so na flood here na tina munya ba bi ngina
ye nya ba wo no so enti ye gira wo no so na kwalebu bensi akese no ebi be gina ha enti ebi be gina ha no eni e dimirika eni e ko wura bensi na kasi nyina choku a ka anko ka ma eti bensi ni ma ni eti boom na ye seja na couple of we wini mo mo ye ko pesika bebre ni pa bebre
sometimes the explosion e buy no omu dimirika ko be explosion ness no
ai wow ukita wuti nya kura na wona mo nsuo mo kura no mahwim no mo nam nsuo ni mu sana omo ko e nti obo a okono of market na chi a ne ja na che no okono of market na chi a ne ja na che no oh nipa wu
na wo ye den na wo to bi titi wo nya wo tididi
en na make us a benz no
e buy no na be foul
benz ni be gina ha sa on to bi nko kasa choku eti benz no nya kwan nko eti benz ni mu na ye koforo ye ena ye tena benz ni mu sa eno kura ye ma eti mema no kura no mu waye mu no omo foro ko benz na pampam ena ka ye ma ena egu benz ni mu enya sanketo nipa wu pa nipa wu ya pantinda ya wira ho ye nkrofo bi ewu bebre
ensuo sa hase biem enema ben no wa ya ama ensuo no issue bi aba wona ntumi affect
oh say de yanyina say yesuro eti akoba say ensuo mu na akora na se ahwe na se kosoro ayehu se ensuo na yiri a yehu sa ha na ye ma na obi adwane ogutiti o hwa utinkwa yanyina ya adwane me tie ya na adwane na me na no ne ye kofie dini pawu
na o sha se o ton nyama wa no how many years nears e was cycle ase
e was cycle ah
be bia o we
me ton ade achepa me ton ade wa pa achepa me trans me ton ade bro be se 30 years
Nah, this is senior TCC.
Dabio, now I pass and garden. Baby, I saw her saying. Now I pass and garden. I almost see blog. Coaching now bra. Now, Wakotana Subi. Now, Crawford says, no more cocoa toilet in the other no mubu.
It's a 10 years, June 3rd, flood disaster next year. Assembly now be catch again and paying for. And soon as I start to be.
And the air can say gun and penny for your Sraumana, and so no, who's a sea who could walk and Muayama, because Sanriani Bemua, and in a yana mention a bus on Tantam. It is almost Timua, and so Nantimima, a Babacra, and Massa, and yes, penny for Guatano. Omo meshana omo nyamayen omo ntim na nkofom wo ko jona se a ko jina ho hwe wo ba mu sa ye ma anwea na bam etis anwea ne bam a ensuo ni to kakra bi ane ehiri na ye nuanom bi soso ya abofo bola no dia kogum instead say o de be kwa akoto saa bola atanki nim we kai kro abesesa enti ye wa ye bobo ye bola anopa bi aka ne ba na ye dia kogum na boys no mo kogiji nkrofo sika no mo de bola no akogu nsuo nim na ye ma enti yesu ye hia security so bola no nsuo no se na obi di bola na e ba omo so be che won
Okay, mami, me da se pa ya men shiraw na say ye nyina ye hwe ekwan be fa so ye betumi ese okwan a entumi ncbm ye da se pa. So she's been explaining to me what happened on the day of the flood disaster. She was here, she's been selling here for the past 30 years, and she was actually here when the issue happened. Now, how she was able to escape, there was a bus that came from Kolebu, and that bus actually parked here because it was not able to move, and so many people who were all here went in for rescue, and they were able to find themselves, and other people, in fact, the men were actually forced to sit on top of the bus because the bus at a point got full and there was no space in there, so the men actually had to find themselves at the top of the buses, and that's how she was able to escape that June 3rd disaster. Now we're still here, the rings are coming. What are people doing to ensure they don't find themselves in situations like that? Some people have been settling here for years and they still remind themselves of that incident, so we're trying to engage them and find out what they think about it. Let me come here. Odo, Bache to say.
Bache,
you Boko.
Boko.
Yo, now pay 10 years ni. June 3rd issue this year, flood disaster this year. Yes, the whole Enkomoka Krampacho for Nichira say, Mammy. Now, yes, now what?
Bache.
It's here now.
Bache.
Then it's here on a panel and some issue never.
And a panel, dear, it's you know, when say, started Tuesday. You know, and upon a sam, my training our content, Mikofa by. Said the names only intimate me and be so. Tietina habe around 7. Now for a month, can say, got a need. And Tiakra, Yakona, Yaka, Tiananti call the friends at TV Africa, and Yakofa car. And let me get out.
TV Africa.
TV Africa.
No,
so bear 7. Na inside the home na so I am ntina afi yes is ade beto to maybe na nya taxi wo ekwan na mikita akwala hye mechi be 1 year nti ye happen ye de ye ko fa aka ye fo ye do azuma nurse won nya taxi na ye ko nti anadwo no e na meti se o mo ka se crash tita meja ni to mu ni de na me ni ha na me ko nti ebo be ye we na ye bakura no be 5 no na ye te ye ba ne nipa ye nya kampomba because na ekromu nyina choki and nanti ya na be ba na me niam nyina ase manfa pin kla ati ye danya ya ye ma ne omo wo inside the bebre na awuye bebre na ye
kai bi no anom ye wona fofo
sister bi me ne nyina na e wo me ba nti na ofle me asew na onu kitaba ya na me kitamba no be 5 months onu se no ton choko milone ade onu die o she dwure one ne ba ne nyina so mo mbo 19 ti o so ko gina filling station ho na sister ba ko nso aye ne na o mo ye mpepefo o mo do mo nyina hye o mo one ne no tankwala miensa o mo nyina wa nya ba kokora
that no mo mfiri onom sa tama mo mu dwane no ade ti no mo do mo nyane
o mo no o mo da ha o mo ton ba yure ni ntosi ni ade nti o mo da ha oni maami abrewa ba ko omdo mo hihye pa ba na nisu ba no na ese ne man mi ansa ni nyina ba ko kura nkan na according to ono no osina ketwa ne hye ena pani kakra na ya ohwe ketwa no ono kan ho ena okita baako no nso de wawo na chi nti omo ko filling station ho ena sister bi ka cha ne se de nsuo na yiri o filling station omo mfo ablonsan na e wo filling station because nkofo afo nti ena sister ba ka cha ne se onfa de ohye na chi ni ma no na ono mo mfa de wawo na chi no nti ono de ohye na chi ni ma sister no na ono fa de yawo no wawo na chi ni hye akire ena okita baako no pani ni na omo furo soro ho ti se de na afi eye no o si jani popuru baako pe na akwala no susu nti o ka che sister no so onfa ne ba ne ma no no si da bi omomo omunyina nti eja ne ji wo mba ko pe no ono ne de ohye na chi no ene de okita ne ohuri wo soro se nko mbeto nsuo ni mu nti o so mu huri wo soro no na akoye se ba ko ne de waja na ma ba sister no ti ne de besi ne de ono de ni na chi nti o ye se nko de mienu no bedwane ba ko no so hye na chi ene nsuo no so de anwea ne nioma bebre enti de okita no nsuo no hwimu no ena afa de ohye na chi no so ntimi nwale nsuo no mu anka mo de fo adablaka no de hunya ne se nsuo na pa akwala ono so afu na chi nti ono yes obese ewu for ne life to ono so ohyehe kwada we friends 37 kura one ma ame ablewa no sisi omu ni ha bio
nsuo na sa start here ba munsuro
ye de on say ye ni jane nsuo na dia flama eti ye die ni ba bia ye ko bi nti ahaya na ye wo ehye na ye ba na eyiri ye na ye ba nti ye ni ba bia akọ
nti aseme na beka chega na mpanyifo omo bia no
na mpanyifo ni say ya patai sisi ye nsuo ne ka se eyiri pa ebe yiri ye pa because ye ni ba bia nso aye ko ena ye ne ma no nso aye hye no nso a eno so nansem ho kla be ye we ne 3 years 4 years nsuo eja be yira ma ye ne ma nyina ahye mo so mesi dwane ama ye ma mesi fine yeti musa gata o ma san be tu gata ne so mo ye gata no sisi o mo ye yie no ma san ya ja ya to ho o mo nyeye ena o mo de nchense age ho nansem nsuo toy o mo we inside o mo ne ma nyina afo ti esro mo do mo de so mo nsi kura ma ye gata no ma ye se de be ya nsuo ni yiri fa so a entimi emese ye ne ma.
That's the part. I mean, so why? So that's another lady recounting some of the things that happened on the day. In fact, she had a friend who was selling over here who unfortunately lost their lives and their children as well because they had about 2 kids and others who had about 3 kids with them. And when the explosion came, all of them couldn't survive it. But she's been able to survive it because she had to trek in the water with the child. She had a baby at the back at the time. She had to trek through the water to the TV Africa area just so she was able to also rescue herself. And that's the issue with regards to the disaster and how people are sharing their stories in terms of what happened. It's been 10 years and
all right, so this is what KMJ is. I don't even know what to say because I'm so emotional right now. Yeah. You know, I'm hearing the story of the woman who lost all 3 children. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Honorable Wontumi.
Yeah, I think these are painful memories. And then if you hear from them, the excruciating pain most of them went through, even those who survived, like we saw the young man. It's something that scar is going to remain even in the minds of those who were not there. I could see that when the story was being shared, everybody in the studio, including us here, were so devastated by what happened. But I think that it has happened. What are the lessons we are learning? What are we going to ensure that it has not happened? Again, you were just reminding me of the stadium disaster that happened some years back, including this ones. And it is something that this country will never forget. But what are we going to do to prevent such happenings in future, which is the most important thing? City planners must do their work. Then those who are using the place, like what our sisters are talking about, must always be cautious and be on alert to ensure that when the rains start coming, you move to higher or further places and so on. So that when it does happen, we will no more feel this disastrous fire combined with rains and so on. And I think that all of us must take our lives seriously because I often say that it is not the walls that we build, no amount of walls can protect you. Your own security is much more important. How you protect yourself is how, when disasters like this come, you can be able to escape. So we city managers and then the political actors should ensure the right thing is done.
The right thing is done. All right. So I just want to say a very big thank you to all of you for making time for us this morning. We ended on a sad note. It's 10 years. We should have ended on a high note, but unfortunately, we've ended on a sad note, and we are hoping that, you know, we can't control what the climate will do. What we can do is to protect ourselves. And so if you're out there, you have to make sure you protect yourself, like all our honorable members here have said this morning. Thank you so much, Kwame Nkrumah Botsio, for being here. He represented the CPP this morning. Thank you so much, Honorable Michael Edu, who represented the NPP, and Honorable Timothy Wontumi, who represented the NDC. A very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. Now, if you're looking for any gadgets, don't forget to go to Franco Trading Enterprise, because they've got you covered. Very authentic gadgets, I must say. You can download the app on your phone to make things simple. So it's the Franco Trading app, or for further inquiries, visit our website, which is www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still phone Papa Perfie.